Welcome, everyone. Today we're diving into some pretty complex themes: America's rapid decline, the influence of certain political establishments, and where Ukraine stands in all of this.
I'm all in on that. It's a labyrinth of global politics, isn't it?
Exactly. One of the major threads is the weaponization of the dollar. It's like a tool being wielded in economic warfare, using tariffs and sanctions to shape global dynamics.
Yes, tariffs are turning into more than just trade policy. They're really tools of economic coercion, right?
Right on. The analysis shows that when you weaponize a currency, you create layers of instability. These tools, tariffs in particular, are used to leverage power against nations, even if it means, unfortunately, hurting ordinary folks more than the intended
Yep, that's
targets.
a tough pill to swallow. And that brings us to how sanctions are often a double edged sword. They aim at regimes, but they end up impacting the common citizen far too much.
Absolutely. It's like you're trying to cut off the head of a snake and end up poisoning the whole
Yeah,
garden. The ripple effects can really widen the gap between policy and reality.
and then there's the discussion on America's global position. It seems the narrative suggests there's a rapid decline, not just militarily, but also morally and economically.
Right. It's portrayed as this slow erosion of influence. The political establishment's grip on foreign policy decisions is heavy, and a critical aspect of that is the role of Zionism in shaping U.S. diplomacy, which is no small piece of the puzzle.
That point is particularly sensitive, though, isn't it? I mean, while that influence is significant, isn't it a bit of an oversimplification to say it's the primary driver?
I see what you're saying, and it's a fair critique. The video pushes that perspective quite hard, but it's definitely one part among many, like strategic, economic, and even historical alliances that all combine with domestic politics.
Exactly, it's a mixed bag. Everything intertwines. Now, shifting towards the Ukraine conflict, the piece really lays out how this isn't just a regional issue, but a significant flashpoint with military and political consequences.
Yeah, absolutely. The conversation highlights the multifaceted nature of the conflict. It's not only about the battlefield, but also the economic and diplomatic sanctions thrown around. And even the covert operations come into play.
Right.
It's almost like a chess match with no clear end game.
Speaking of covert operations, the use of assassinations in warfare was mentioned. That's a pretty heavy claim.
It is heavy indeed. The idea here is that modern warfare has gotten so murky that state sanctioned extrajudicial actions are becoming more common. It's like the underbelly of international conflict, where covert means can tip the scales significantly.
I'd like to challenge that a bit, though. While covert operations are a reality, do you think emphasizing assassinations oversimplifies the broader military strategies at work?
That's a valid point. I mean, not every conflict resorts to that dark tactic, but when they do, it signals a breakdown in traditional methods of engagement. It's indicative of a larger crisis in ethical warfare norms.
Yeah, true enough. And then we have the Israeli Iranian tension, which is a whole other layer to this discussion. It's like a persistent hotspot that keeps rearing its head in regional politics.
Exactly. The tension between Israel and Iran is more than just a regional squabble. It's a flashpoint that affects global alliances.
Right.
The historical baggage and the current power plays make it a central piece in the puzzle of modern geopolitics.
But don't you think the video sometimes places too much weight on Israel's influence, as if it were the linchpin of US foreign policy?
I do think it leans that way, and while there's some truth to it, it's definitely more complex. It's like, you have these powerful interest groups influencing policy, but that's just one factor among many. The US foreign policy machine is multifaceted, driven by economics, security alliances, and domestic pressures.
Right. So the narrative is layered. You have this overlapping of internal policy issues with external pressures that compound the decline.
Yes, and that brings us back to the broader theme: America's rapid decline. It's portrayed as a process driven by internal complacency, misguided policy choices, and aggressive external maneuvers, like economic sanctions, covert operations, and even gazing too feverishly towards certain ideological influences.
Exactly. And what's really striking is how these strategies, like the weaponization of the dollar, extend their reach globally. It's not just about America, it's about how the tools of power shift the game worldwide.
Absolutely. When you use economic instruments as weapons, you create a domino effect where nations become pawns in a larger, more ruthless competition. It challenges the traditional notions of global order.
Yep, it almost sounds like a modern day battle for hegemony, where rules are constantly rewritten and no one really wins in the end.
Right, it's like a never ending chess game where every move has severe consequences, not just for the players, but for the common people who end up bearing the brunt of these policies.
That's a sobering thought. The cost is often not measured in dollars on a balance sheet, but in human lives and stability.
Exactly. And that's the crux of the broader societal impact. The complex strategies discussed here now seep into everyday life, disrupting social structures and even national identities.
And it makes you wonder, with all of these moving parts, can a balance ever be restored? How do we recalibrate a system that seems to be built on continuous conflict?
That's the million-dollar question. It's like trying to pause a runaway train. You can only slow it down so much before it derails. The interplay of economic, covert, and ideological warfare creates a precarious equilibrium that's tough to stabilize.
Exactly. Right, and sometimes the pursuit of national interests ends up undermining the very foundation of global cooperation.
Exactly. And while the analysis paints a stark picture of decline, I think it also holds a mirror up to our current global realities. It's a call to re examine how policies are made and the collateral damage they leave behind.
Yeah, it encourages us to dig deeper into the consequences of strategic decisions, something critical in today's intertwined world.
And approaching these issues with a critical eye can help us, better understand the forces at work. Whether it's the manipulation of economic systems like the dollar or the strategic use of military might, there's a common thread of power being contested.
Right. So, in the end, it's about realizing that these aren't isolated events. They're deeply interwoven scenarios that impact political leadership, economic stability, and even societal trust.
Exactly. It's a reminder that the repercussions of domestic policies can ripple far beyond borders. Every decision becomes a part of a larger global narrative.
And it underscores the importance of transparency and accountability in both national and global arenas. Otherwise, the cycle of decline just continues unchallenged.
Absolutely. These discussions push us to ask, how do we balance national security with global responsibility? And how can we, as societies, steer our future away from continuous conflict?
Yeah, exactly. It's a critical conversation with no simple answers, but one that demands our attention if we're to understand where we're headed.
Well, that's been quite a ride through these challenging topics. It's been insightful examining how America's policies, economic maneuvers, and covert operations shape the modern world.
Absolutely. For sure. These issues touch on everything from economic stability to personal lives and remind us of the intricate dance of global power.
And it's our job to keep questioning, keep discussing, and hopefully guide some of these debates toward more sustainable solutions.
Right. Indeed. Thanks for the engaging conversation. It's been a thought-provoking journey through some of today's most pressing geopolitical challenges.
Totally. Until next time, keep exploring these complex issues and stay curious about how they shape our world.
Exactly. See you next time.